From an enterprise perspective regarding generative AI, do you consider this technology to be hyped up? What are the challenges?
There's a problem of reliability, hallucinations. We have to make sure that there's always a human in the loop that takes an eye on all these GenAI tools all throughout the organization.
Welcome to Mainframe Insights. My name is Venkat Balabhadrapatrani. I'm a distinguished engineer in the Broadcom Mainframe Software Division. I'm responsible for the architecture of our application modernization, enterprise DevOps, and generative AI related tooling. Joining me today are Nevil and Peter.
Thank you, Venkat. My name is Nevil Gultekin. I am the head of the platform architecture team in Garanti BBVA. And my main responsibility is for the evolution and onboarding of the platforms in our banking environment.
Generative AI is, even though it started off as a tech buzzword, is now turning out to be a paradigm shift. Today, we're going to have a conversation on generative AI and how enterprise organizations are embracing generative AI. What are the use cases, challenges, and best practices? So, Nevil, from an enterprise perspective, what are some of the use cases that you have explored regarding generative AI? And I think what we would like to know is, based on your experience, do you consider this technology to be that buzzword that is hyped up versus do you see real productivity?
We see many use cases in the area of application lifecycle development area. And currently we are in the stage of experimenting and trying to find out where this is going, but we believe that we need to investigate and start experimenting with these technologies. I think our main use cases are in the areas, I say, when we talk about application lifecycle, as you know, there are 4 stages in there: analysis, design, development, and testing. And I think besides that, we also see 2 more use cases. One is because we are also providing platforms to the bank. We see that there is a lot of need for supporting and ensuring that they do their development correctly. So we need to ensure we provide the right information more effectively, more quickly, and where possible, try to, if possible, review their code and make sure that they are doing the right things, and also in the area of performance. Another area that we see is because technologies are changing, we are keeping the platform and enterprise technologies up to date. Of course, when you do these technology updates, you have to ensure that all the delivery teams also update their environments. So we see this as another environment where we call it like a technical upgrades should also be a part of this GenAI.
Now, so you're focusing more on the application developer lifecycle and how generative AI technology can improve the developer productivity and get you to that business agility that you're looking for, essentially.
Exactly, that's the main concern. How are we going to improve the production of our delivery teams? And all these use cases that we are thinking of is, again, solely trying to improve the productivity and trying to deliver in a shorter amount of time with a higher quality.
I would say that our use cases for the support team internally are similar in motivation. And what I mean by that is there is a lot of hype when it comes to Gen AI. It still is the buzzword of the day. New technologies are coming out every day.
Yep.
I mean, you know this as well as I do. What we're trying to do internally within my team is keep our feet on the ground. And what I mean by that is, the promise of Gen AI, is out there. But in fact, we're looking at it from the point of view of enhancing the efficiency or the productivity of our support engineers. Gen AI in that context, it's really just a tool for us. Now, I'm not trying to make it sound minimal. It has a lot of significance, but it's really a tool that enhances our productivity. One of the areas where we're applying it is in trying to improve mean time to resolution for cases that are reported by our clients that come into the support organization. So we're applying technologies or techniques like summarizing cases, right? Yeah, to make the handoff between support engineers more efficient. And we're approaching it through that lens and really trying to keep things simple.
Having a pragmatic approach,
Right.
as you said, keep our feet on the ground, figure out what the use cases are and how we can leverage the technology is the key takeaway.
That's right.
So, Peter, you mentioned, internally we have been on a journey of leveraging generative AI, and you talked about the support use cases. What are the challenges that you have seen, and are there anything that we can tell our audience in terms of what are the things that they need to watch out for?
We started on another use case, which has to do with searching the knowledge base. And this use case is really optimized around what a number of us have experienced with things like ChatGPT. In other words, a chat-based interface to draw information out of some knowledge domain. And in our experimentation internally, what we found to be critically important is the prompt engineering. And that has a lot to do with priming the bot with context, right? And getting the bot to understand the persona who is interacting with the bot, giving it as much information about the question or the query as possible. And you can reflect back on the early days of the internet, right? Even before Google was, a verb, right? And I think a number of us at this table recall that, inputting your search string, asking the question in the right way, produce different results.
Yep.
We're seeing that again with chat-based GenAI interaction. And so my team has gone through that journey in trying to figure out, well, how do I describe my persona? How do I ask or provide the context to get a better interaction? So that's been one of the aspects of the journey.
Wonderful. Nevil, from your experience, looking at it from an enterprise perspective, any other challenges that you're working through?
There's a problem of reliability, hallucinations, so we have to make sure that there's always a human in the loop that takes an eye on what is being produced. So I think these are the challenges that come to our mind.
Those are some of the real critical points from a governance aspect of it, compliance, reducing the hallucinations. I think it's been an ongoing challenge and an activity that everybody is worried about. The good news is the technology is evolving to help minimize those concerns for sure. But as you guys said earlier, we need to try to experiment with it and then learn from those experiments. So we talked about use cases, we talked about challenges. Are there any best practices that we can suggest based on the experience so far?
This is affecting the whole of the organization. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to have a good starting point of strategy. What are we trying to achieve here? So as we said the first thing to do is to identify the use cases and also review all the trends that are going on. I mean, what other tools are coming out?
Right.
So this is our first step probably. The second step probably would be to have a preparation phase where we start creating these tools, having these tools. It could be Copilot, ChatGPT, or LLM models. We need to create the foundations here. Are we going to create a platform? How are we going to test these? So get these ready. Third, I said governance. So we need to know how we're going to, what stages are we going through here? Who's going to be leading this? What are the things that we need to keep an eye on to have a successful outcome? Once we've identified all these next stages, we need to pilot these. Pilot all the use cases, of course, throughout the whole organization, and try to see where we're seeing benefits, where are we not seeing them. I think once we complete this stage, next stage will be to try to build these tools and embed them into our processes so that they are used throughout the organization. Because we see the benefits of developers using these tools individually, but we need to make sure that all these GenAI tools are effective all throughout the organization. So I think that's what we should aim for.
Great.
I would say that the prompt engineering falls into the category of best practices in attempting to reduce the hallucination, as you indicated. I think a lot of what we were hearing over the last several minutes here relates to a best practice that I think is critically important, which has to do with integrity of the model.
That's a great point.
Where does the model originate? What has the governance of the model been? What is the governance of the model within your organization? Who's touching the model? Being able to version, standard things of that nature, I think, need to be tackled up front. The one I was going to bring out in addition to that is around the quality of the data that feeds the model, that the model learns from. We went through an exercise internally within my sport team where we were going to index a number of our knowledge base articles. Of course, the first step was identifying all of the knowledge based articles straight away. As we looked at them, we realized there, so much for structured data. These were supposed to be structured. They were not uniform across the entire set. And a number of them were just messy, outdated information, links that didn't resolve. And so we went through an exercise and cleaned those all up before we indexed them. And the idea there was, as you interact with the model and the model learns, we're able to get better answers, better search results.
That's a great point. Like anything in life, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Right? Try to manage that.
That's right.
Cleaning up the data, ensuring the data is accurate and in the right format and is consistent. I think it'll make the lives easier.
That's exactly it.
Is what we're hearing.
Yep.
So thank you, Nevil, Peter. This has been a very insightful conversation. Thanks for your time. Generative AI, as we all have been talking about, the hype is there. The technology is evolving faster than anybody can imagine and wrap their head around. And the only way we can learn about this technology and keep up with the evolution is to learn from each other. We have experience. We are willing to work with you on the use cases, be it brainstorming, sharing our experiences, best practices, and looking forward to engaging with you all.